Alright everyone, welcome to Arsenal Fan TV, and we have just beaten Queen's Park Rangers by 2-1 at Loftus Road in the Premier League. A game that, after all of the results this midweek, doesn't really mean that much, considering that all the top 7 clubs won and we're pretty much in the same position that we were heading into this game. However, despite that, the result, the confidence it's going to give us heading into that game against United, which I mentioned so many times in the preview, is massive for us. This is a game that was always going to be very difficult to play, and we couldn't underestimate QPR going into it. And I think that when you're playing a team like this, a team that was 17th going into the fixture, they were fighting tooth and nail to get something out of this game. And with respect to QPR, they were absolute class, especially in that first half of that game today. Players that I didn't really look up to so much heading into the fixture, the likes of Sean Wright-Phillips, who kind of looked dead and gone a couple of months ago. Bobby Zamora, same goes with him. I think Chris Ramsey is actually doing a very good job there, and I think that that was implemented today, and I think that they did play some very good football, and may feel a little bit hard done by that they didn't get anything out of this game. Charlie Austin getting on the score sheet as well. They've got quite good, talented players up top. I mean, you've got to give them credit at times, and given the chance to Furlong, who was only making his second Premier League start, I believe it was, he looked very healthy and class down that left-hand side, and they do look like a club that could potentially stay up this season, but of course they've got a lot of work to do, and basically I want to talk about Arsenal in this video. So getting onto that, the team lineup that we fielded was one that I was kind of scratching my head over at the start, because when I saw it announced, I'm thinking to myself, why are we playing the likes of Cazorla, Sanchez, Giroud all again? Because we've got that United game in, what, 5 days? They're all going to be incredibly knackered by the time that comes around. I don't particularly want to see that happening. I think you could tell at times, especially in that first half, how tired players like Cazorla and Sanchez were, most notably. Giroud was probably the more frustrating players in that first half. He didn't seem to be holding the ball up at all well. He didn't seem to be passing, stringing 2 passes together, and it seemed to be like one of his performances that he was having, you know, against Monaco or against Stoke away, and that was pretty frustrating to see. But it's something that we kind of have to accept that is actually a part of his game at times. We're going to expect to see that, but he did get on the score sheet in the second half, which I'll get onto a little bit later. But regarding the rest of that team lineup, I could kind of understand it. The Mertesacker-Gabriel thing, that's something that I was a bit suspect about. Mertesacker, I don't know if he earned the right to come back into that team just yet. I couldn't really understand if Koscielny had been dropped or if he'd been rested. If he has been rested, then it's a good call, I suppose, going into that game against United. He's our best defender by quite some distance at this moment. Gabriel going off injured in that first half was, of course, frustrating, but we kind of rekindled the relationship between Mertesacker and Koscielny in the back, which did work well for a majority of the game, apart from the goal that we conceded where it kind of fell to pieces. But I want to see more from that defence at times. I thought our fullbacks were excellent today. Both Kieran Gibbs and Hector Bellerin did very well defensively and going forward. But I think the only real reason for that is QPR didn't offer a lot on the flanks and kind of allowed those players to bomb up the pitch and get crosses in. And of course, Gibbs coming away with 2 assists today, so he was probably a contender for man of the match, most certainly. Our defence was rather ship-shape and shiny at times, but at times it does still look prone to error, and I am looking at Mertesacker in that respect. He still looks a little bit shaky, but actually you could say on that goal that we could see Koscielny was an error, but I want to get onto that a little bit later. The game started off poorly in my opinion. It looked like we were trying to play a counter-attacking system, which I didn't think was going to work when you've got Olivier Giroud up top. And with respect to Giroud, he's not exactly the fastest of the guys, and I couldn't really understand why, if we were going to play in this fashion, if we were going to accept that we were going to concede possession to Queen's Park Rangers, why aren't we going to play Danny Welbeck up top, or why aren't we going to include Theo Walcott in the team? Because that's what would have made sense if we're going to try and catch QPR on the break. As it stood, whenever we did try to make a counter and it went to Giroud, we kind of ended up giving up the ball and nothing really came of it. And that was kind of the really recurring theme for that first half. It tells the tale of how that first half went for us. It was pretty poor, losing possession in the final third and not doing a lot with the chances that we got, because chances were few and far between, and we weren't taking them when they came to us. We could have quite easily conceded. QPR could have conceded as well, in fairness, but it was an excellent performance from both Rob Green and David Ospina, so that was really great to see. But yeah, I mean, it was certainly not the best first halves that I've seen. And I actually just mentioned Walcott there, just brushing on him slightly again. Why isn't he getting in the starting lineup? I mean, if he's not going to make the breakthrough in this game, when is he going to make the team? Is he going to start against Man United? In my opinion, I think it would surprise me if he started against United. He's a player that has bursts of pace, but he's also a player that can dawdle about the pitch at times. I would expect us to play a lot of workhorses in that game, maybe players like Sanchez, Chamberlain. I would expect and even Danny Welbeck to be the players that start on the flanks. It kind of looks like Walcott is the third choice winger at the moment behind Chamberlain and Danny Welbeck. Whether he's being eased back after his injury, which I could understand, but he's not even coming off the subs bench anymore, which I've got to say is very disappointing to see. I think Walcott is one of our most integral players. A couple of seasons ago, he was, if not our best player, and it's really annoying that he's not actually getting the cut at the moment. When I think, you know, when he's come back from his injury, he's got something like three goals and 2 assists, something like that. He's looked class when he's come back, so I can't quite get my head around why he's not getting in the team. But that's just my verdict on that. So going into that second half, 0-0. Obviously, I was pleased that we hadn't conceded. It was obviously going to be hard to really defend against Charlie Austin, Bobby Zamora, the talent that they've got going forward in Sean Wright Phillips, etc. The talent that they've got going forward is Sean Wright Phillips. Yeah, but it was good that we went into that second half at 0-0, and then we could go out in that second half, hopefully play our own game, which is exactly what we did. I was really pleased with how he performed in that second half, especially. He looked nothing short of impeccable. We played really, really well. QPR conceded possession to us, and we used the possession that we had incredibly well, something that in the game against Monaco we were guilty of not doing. It looked like QPR were accepting to sit back and they were going to say, come on, try and break us down, which we did to a great standard. Mesut Ozil and Santi Cazorla running things in the middle of the park. They were absolute class. Thomas Rosicky, of course, contributing to that from the right-hand side, and Alexis Sanchez playing some quality football. We did get our first breakthrough through Kieran Gibbs playing in the ball to Olivier Giroud. Giroud couldn't really miss. He's in the right place at the right time. Another goal for him, and people that are still going to get on his back frustrate me more than anyone else in the world, because he does have the odd off game, and we've got to accept that, but he's a £10 million striker. For what we paid for him, for what we're getting out of him now at this point, I think he's doing that fine. I think he's doing brilliantly for us. In fact, he's banging in goals practically every game in the league now, so I can't complain about Giroud. Honestly, I can't. There are times when he frustrates me. That first half today, he really did frustrate me, but he gets on the score sheet all the time. He can head the ball, he can finish. He's a good player, and he's a real asset to the team. And this season, at this point in the season, is proving to be one of our most important players. Whether you like that or not, it is a fact. So we went on after that first goal, and we didn't really go back into our shell. We continued to play good, dynamic football. Ozil came very close with a chance that would have been impeccable if it had gone in. Bellerin also came very close, and we looked like we were certainly going to get that second goal, which kind of came out of nothing for us, because Sanchez, shortly before he put this goal away, he missed a chance that he should have put in the back of net before that. And this goal was a million times harder to score. I think he absolutely tore Furlong to shreds and then placed it past Rob Green at a very, very difficult angle. I couldn't be happier for Sanchez. After the critics have been getting on his back, after our own fans have been getting on his back a little bit, don't know where that's come from, he's back on the score sheet, which is really, really good to see. You know, I said in the preview that if we were going to rest Sanchez, it would, you know, I mean, if we were to play Sanchez, then it would potentially be a benefit to us if he was to get on the scoreboard, because now he goes into that game against United with a whole load of confidence behind him that he's capable of scoring, which he knows he is, and hopefully he'll have an excellent performance in that game. But 2-0, we should have got more. We really should have got a third goal, because we had opportunities to do it. We were really, really, really running things. QPR weren't getting anywhere near the ball, and we had more chances to score. Unfortunately, we didn't take them, and we did concede to a Charlie Austin goal, which was absolutely pathetic to concede, if I'm being brutally honest. Gave him all the time in the world. Koscielny didn't press him. David Ospina, you know, I don't really know what he was doing. He should have tried a little bit harder for that. He just seemed to be wandering on his goal line. But unfortunately, we did concede Charlie Austin clawing a goal back for QPR. And this is something that's got to be eradicated from our game. Conceding late goals like this can cost us. We did it against Palace. We did it against Leicester. And we are becoming dangerously close to being punished by a side that could potentially put us to bed. We've got a massive game against United next, where we certainly can't afford to be doing it. I would love us to go out there and have a convincing and comfortable 2-0 victory where we completely take United out of the game. That's kind of the dream right there. But that game against United is going to be incredibly difficult. But this is the exact kind of result that we needed. It would have been nice if we could have got the clean sheet. But, you know, I'll take this game as it comes, and we go into the game against Man United with a little bit more self-esteem behind us and a chance to really end our disgusting drought that we've had there in recent times. So hopefully we can go there and get the win. But this is the right result tonight. If you've enjoyed the video, do give it a like, rate, and subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV, and do also make sure to check out my own channel, AFC Game by Game. We've got Old Trafford next, and I will speak to you very soon, guys.
Unfortunately, I've got another negative, but it's nothing to do with football. It's come to my attention that there was some man on Sunday who was saying about I should be sectioned.